In this situation with Epstein and what's going on, who knows exactly what happened? The FBI or CIA?
Well, see, that's really the $64,000 question right there. One thing that didn't surprise me at all was the conclusion that he committed suicide. I've always said he committed suicide. And I say that only because of my own experience in the prison system.
You don't think someone killed him?
No, I don't.
You think he committed suicide?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why.
Please.
Because the Federal Bureau of Prisons is the biggest repository of semi-literate boobs anywhere in government. If you have an IQ of 65 and you want to work in government, straight to the Bureau of Prisons with you, right? Every flunky who couldn't make it through the local police academy, or every loser who left the military and couldn't find a job because he lives in some rural area and there are no jobs unless you want to be a farmer and live in a double wide, they go to the Bureau of Prisons. The guards, so many of the guards were so stupid where I was that they couldn't even read. So they couldn't do mail call because they couldn't read the envelopes. And so prisoners had to do the mail call for them. The only qualifications to be a prison guard are you have to have a GED or be working on a GED and no felony convictions. That's it. That's all. And you're in. So, number one, they're all morons. Number two, the cameras never work. Never. I wrote a blog. I used to smuggle out this blog, and my attorney would publish it, and it became my second book, Doing Time Like a Spy. But I wrote this blog about how I was working as a janitor in the chapel. And
this is when you're doing your 23 months.
When I was doing my 23 months,
Yeah.
I was a janitor. I offered to teach a class because I did my PhD coursework in international affairs, and they told me if they wanted me to teach an effing class, they would ask me to teach an effing class. Now pick up the sweeper, or the broom, and sweep the floors. So that's what I did. I said fine, for 16 cents an hour. So anyway, every time I'd go to the chapel, in a period where there wasn't some sort of religious service scheduled, the guys are having sex in there, and I'd have to chase them out. And the reason they had sex in there all the time is because the cameras never worked. And everybody knew where the cameras didn't work. They didn't work in the stairwell that led down to the mailroom, for example. They didn't work in the hallway that led to the laundry. And so people are constantly having sex in there. So when they say, oh my God, the cameras weren't working, it's a conspiracy. No, the cameras weren't working because they never work. And then they said, oh, the guards were asleep. Yeah, because the guards are always asleep, right? They're supposed to work 8 hours, no more than 8 hours. These guys were doing it.
This is so hard to believe.
It's
though.
awful. It's awful.
No. This is naive to believe that. For me, my opinion, you got a guy, this heavyweight of a guy that's got access to this information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're gonna allow something like that to happen. There's a lot of guys that have.
But you're gonna trust. You're gonna trust in your people that they realize he's a high-profile prisoner. He's a suicide risk.
This makes me also. What this makes me also think about is the following. So, what did you say? You call them stupid people, right?
Yeah.
People who work there. Okay, but what did you call the other guy that was able to put a chip on the printer to get all the intel? Right? If you're able to con a prime minister to get all the facts and stuff that's coming in, how much easier is it if I'm dealing with stupid men to go and kill a guy that I want to kill? It's the easiest person to kill. I mean, cameras don't work. The prisoners are lazy. Guys, this is like easy job where a brand new elementary guy can go and take them out.
Yes, but then the FBI et al. Are going to investigate that, and they're going to look at everybody's financial records. Has anybody made a big deposit, bought a boat, moved into a bigger house, And there's no indication that anybody profited in any way.
Not yet. We don't know yet because it's not. And even if there's many ways of doing it with. If a person wants to take them out, they're not going to have a hard time taking them out. But go back to this year. So you said Israel.
Yeah.
So do you don't think anybody from the administration is being implicated, that they're on that list? I don't think so either. I'm not there. But who actually knows what happened? That's what I want to know. You know, because in the CIA, you said something. I talked to Woolsey. Woolsey was like, I never talked to the President Clinton. He was, he's like, I was there for 2 visits or 2 this, and nothing ever happened.
Literally.
And now you're saying Gore was the one that would talk 5-6 days a week in the briefing. But who are the people that actually know the client list?
Yeah.
That actually have seen the videos, that actually have access to those, who have actually seen it? How many people you think know exactly what happened? How big's that number?
I think it's actually more than most people realize, because you figure Ghislaine Maxwell 100%.
Sure.
But you figure Virginia Giuffre told us, and actually 5 other young women in their statements, in their lawsuit, told us that there were rooms with banks of monitors, right? And they were monitoring every room and every bathroom. So if there were clients, and I believe there were, and they were having sex with minors, and I believe they were, every single person who was hired to monitor those screens would have known. I believe that there was a list, a client list. There had to have been. We know that there was a black book. It sold at Sotheby's, for heaven's sake. So where is it? Was it destroyed? And even if it was destroyed, why didn't Ghislaine Maxwell try to use it to save herself?
Yeah, so now out of all these people that have access to it, say somebody is, did you say it's sold at Sotheby's?
Sotheby's or Christie's?
Actually, they both declined to handle it.
Oh.
In a 2020 Maryland auction house, was attempted to sell one of Epstein's the little black book, but it failed to meet the reserve, but it did not sell. The book had been offered privately earlier with bids exceeding $100,000. If that book is still out there, I'd buy it myself for that number.
Right here.
Is that it? Where's that at, Rob?
Alexander Historical Auctions.
That's what it was, on Maryland's Eastern Shore.
Can you send me that link, Rob?
Yep.
Yeah. Is that the original book?
The original book. And you know what? I actually bought something from them. There was something that passed, and I emailed them after the auction, and I said, hey, I'd really like to have it, and they gave it to me for the minimum
Send that to
reserve.
me, Rob. Just text it to me if you could.
Gotcha.
So, okay, so going back to it, but how many people? So the number has to be in the thousands. Fair to say it's in the thousands, because all the clients, all the employees, all the people that set up the cameras, all the girls that were involved, how many people they told?
Yeah.
But then
Or
there's
hundreds at least.
okay. But then here's there's the people that were friends with Virginia who they told. So you're secondhand,
Right. Yes.
But she knows because she
Yes.
had the experience
She
with
experienced
Andrew
it.
and whoever it is, whatever the individuals were. So how many people have seen, have files, have information, have communication where 100% they know? Not, I have faith in Virginia telling me the truth. I have, like, how many Virginias are there?
Right.
How many of those? Is that 50?
It's got to be, right?
Okay.
50?
So out of
100?
the 50, if I'm somebody that wants to get that intel, okay, if I'm somebody that wants to get that intel, and I want to get the next John, who is a FBI agent, CIA who is conflicted, you were conflicted with waterboarding, and that person's conflicted with the fact that they have access to this information where a bunch
Right.
of minors, but
Right. Where's
How
the
do-
whistleblower?
how do you get that person that has access to that information to be coming out to public? How do you get access to that person?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, in the CIA, 10 years ago, I would have said WikiLeaks. They can protect your identity. They're the only ones who will protect your identity. Go to WikiLeaks. Today, I mean, for all intents and purposes, WikiLeaks doesn't really exist anymore. But you need somebody with a strong moral compass who's willing to take a serious risk because, again, you're going to be prosecuted. You know, maybe even under that Espionage Act. The judge in my case, Judge Leonie Brinkema, set 2 precedents in espionage-related cases. First of all, she ruled that she would not respect the other district courts' precedents that there had to be harm to the national security for an Espionage Act prosecution. Secondly, she ruled that a person can accidentally commit espionage without the intent to commit espionage, without any criminal intent. And she defined espionage very simply as providing national defense information to any person not entitled to receive it. People could argue that the Epstein files are national defense information, especially if they have something to do with a foreign country or with a foreign leader. And we know that Prince Andrew was implicated. So somebody would have to seriously take a risk by releasing that information. Hi, everybody. I'm John Kiriakou, former CIA officer. Please find me on Minect. We have a lot to talk about. CIA, FBI, DOD, torture, secret prisons, international renditions. Maybe you or your child want to apply for a job at the CIA and are looking for some tips. Let me know. There's a lot we can talk about. You pick the subject, we'll make it happen. Again, it's on Minect. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.